Down, the battlecruisers and Vikings coming forward. Seeker missiles going. Oh, the Vikings! Oh my goodness, that was insane. I don't even know what to think about that. Huge.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second series of the third day of ISTL Season 3. I am Vindicator, and with me today is Ajax. And if you are just joining us, you missed a really, really good series between Team MXG and Team RipZs. MXG coming out on top 4-3. And we are looking to get into our second series of the day. It is between Team Optik and Team Property. Now, Optik and Property are an interesting addition to this season because they are not American teams. We have Team Property hailing from Sweden, so they are our very first Swedish-based team, and we have Team Optik coming in from Canada, our neighbors to the north. So these two teams are just like perfect examples of how ISTL is kind of expanding its reach across the globe, getting all sorts of international teams in here. And for that reason, among so many others, I am really, really excited to get this series started.
Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna have a ZVZ first, I think. And our players are going to be OpTCoyote and Snuffe, I believe is what they said is pronounced like.
Snuffe, I think that's what they were saying. It could be Snuffe.
OpTCoyote looks really familiar.
Yeah, he does. I've definitely seen this guy play somewhere before. It could have been a Playhem match. It could be the WCS, but I have definitely seen this tag before. He is a rank 1 Master Zerg, and he has 188 wins and 175 losses, so very powerful win-loss ratio for our Zerg player from Team Optik. And Team Snuffe is from Team Property. They are using a shared team account, and he is also going to be a Zerg player, so we are going to be opening things up for this clan war. This is the best of 7. This is going to be a ZVZ on the map, WCS Cloud Kingdom. ZVZ is obviously a match that you are very familiar with, Ajax.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Countless. I mean, over a year's experience with that matchup, and I got to say, it can be one of the most satisfying and the most heart-wrenching matchups you can play. You can go from winning a matchup to having a baneling land on the wrong spot and just being like, oh my goodness, that really happened. What just happened to my entire army? Yeah,
the early game with ZVZ is just unforgiving if it can be put into a single word, but it really puts a lot of emphasis on perfect execution from both sides. So who will have better execution this game? Will it be our blue Zerg? He is spawning down here for Team Optik. He is going to be their starting Zerg player today. He is OpTCoyote.
Or will it be Property's Zerg over here up in the top right? It is Property Snuffe.
So it's going to be Snuffe versus Coyote. A Snuffe Coyote. I'm thinking immediately of like a mascot for like a school or something like that when I think of these two players and how their names kind of combine together. This is going to be on WCS Cloud Kingdom, and WCS Cloud Kingdom kind of plays out in a few interesting ways for the Zerg versus Zerg matchup. Why don't you talk about it a little bit, Ajax?
Anything can go on this map. It's definitely one of those maps where you can be baneling all in, roach all in, or it can go into mutalist play, or even like extreme late game. It really depends on what they're going to open like. If they open up gas first, which I don't think they will, you know, you see a lot of fast expands on this map and then a wall up at the front. They put down a crawler, maybe an Evo chamber, roach warren, and they defend. A lot of people are confident on this map. And I would expect no less from players of this caliber. It does look like Coyote's going to put down his pool first, and we're going to see a hatch first from property.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards a little bit, Ajax, when I was talking about this map, is that I really think that this map really favors earlier expansions and a little bit more of a delayed gas from Zergs, just because of the fact that this natural is so easy to block off with evolution chambers and spine crawlers, that it really doesn't promote a lot of super heavy Baneling Zergling play.
It doesn't. And to negate what I was saying, actually, Snuffe is going for a spawn pool into a hatch, which is very standard, extremely standard. It allows you to defend against 10 pools. You don't get cheese as easily, and then you can just put down your gas and you'll be fine later. Now the real question is what they're going to divert into after they hit their naturals up. It does look like they're both taking their gases around the same time. Speed, of course, is a must. But then you have like the chance of people just going straight speedling. You see that, I've seen that actually quite often recently, is that Zerg have just chosen to go speedling all in. With the double hatch or faster hatchery and the queen larva injects, you can actually produce so many lings so fast that if you micro it correctly, your opponent can't connect with banelings on all of your lings, and you can just basically do too much economical damage before you don't have any time to react.
And I think a lot of it too has to do with the fact that the later game ZBZ has started to become a little bit more prominent. So that earlier investment into heavier Baneling production, it really puts a hindrance on what you can do with your mid-game Roach Infestor unit composition, because every single bit of gas that you spend in the early game on Banelings is gas that you can't spend on Lair Tech, pathogen glands, infestors, roaches, mutalisks, or spire. So I think a lot of Zerg players have kind of started to divert away from that really heavy Baneling style in the early game. However, because that's become a little bit more of the norm, it makes it so that good Baneling hits are all that much more devastating if you are the Baneling player in this matchup. But it doesn't look like either one, oh, it's just as I say that, Coyote is now throwing down his Baneling nest now at 33 supply. That looks like a defensive Baneling nest, especially considering where he put it. I mean, we have also Baneling nest going down now also for Coyote, and he is, Snuffe. So we have Baneling nest going down for both players, but we have 10 Speedlings now in production for Coyote. Spinecrawler is almost done as well for Coyote, so he is actually just producing a ton of different things, and I'm trying to wonder what his opponents, his opponents have just been producing a higher amount of drones. So a 33 drone count for Snuffe, but higher tech structures in just every other sense of the word for Coyote.
Well, a little bit earlier we saw, well, at least I saw, Snuffe take 2 drones off of gas, and that just gives you an insight on how refined these guys' builds are. They know exactly what to do on the map, and they know exactly when to, you know, even timings like that, just pulling 2 drones off for a second and putting them back, just because that initial, or that little bit more marine will give you, or minerals, I'm sorry, will give you that extra boost to your economy.
He does have that boost to his economy right now, although Coyote did manage to pull ahead just a little bit in the drone count following this Speedling attack. And this is one of the nice things about having this very heavy Speedling opening, is that as long as your Speedlings are out on the map and you stay active with them, you know exactly where your opponent's army is going to be. So it gives you time to make drones back at your main base. And then if you know that you're going to be attacked by something, especially roach attacks, which are pretty slow in the early game, it gives you that time to start building combat units back at your main base so that you're still prepared even if you're not really making defenses back home. We did have a few Zerglings actually get taken down by a single Baneling. That other Baneling, will it actually blow up on a ton of Zerglings? No. So all those Banelings are going down. This is what I was talking about again, though. All of those Banelings that that Snuffe is actually making at this point are all gas that doesn't necessarily go into his other sorts of tech options. So will that play a huge factor, though, going into the mid-game as both players are finishing up their layers as well as +1 weapon attacks for Coyote, +1 weapon and armor for Snuffe?
We do have 13 roaches that are just finishing now, though, for Coyote. He's looking to be aggressive, and it doesn't look like Snuffe is going to be able to defend this third at all. He's definitely going to get a cancel on that, if not just take it out completely. But, you know, Snuffe doing the right thing, sending those lings around, trying to prevent that third going up for Coyote, making Coyote play defensive when Coyote can absolutely be offensive with this roach count. And roaches without creep, guys. Creep is so important in every matchup, and I will continue to say this, that creep is so important. And you see that Snuffe has the connected from his third, or from his natural to his third, and he's going to be able to reinforce that position much easier than, say, Coyote would be able to right now.
You brought up another very good point about the fact that Snuffe is staying active with these speedlings. He wants to delay Coyote's roaches as long as he possibly can. And you're right, he is connecting that third with creep. He is moving spine crawlers over, but is he going to have the pure roach numbers he's going to need to deal with this? We have a round of speedlings actually going into the natural expansion for Snuffe, and this is actually not looking all that good for him. There are really no banelings actually in the main base or in the natural base for Snuffe. His third base is going to go down because he doesn't have the roach numbers to deal with this, and this attack is just so powerful for Snuffe. We might have enough units actually being produced now for Snuffe to actually deal with this, but there weren't enough standing forces to really push back this many units, and now he's going to take a ton of damage to his natural. We do have some speedlings over here at the third base of Coyote, but the attack at the natural is really the story of the game right now, folks.
And it looks like it's just too many roaches right now for Coyote. Coyote hit that perfect timing where Snuffe really can't do anything. He doesn't have the production. He didn't have any money. He had too much gas. He's looking too much forward to the late game, and that cost him the game right now. So there's the GG from Team Properties Snuffe. OpTCoyote taking the W very convincingly.
I mean, I think Snuffe was just convinced that he wasn't going to be hit that hard. You know, yeah. I think he was expecting more of kind of a map dance, I can call it, I guess. Kind of a jock for position, you're going to pressure my third, you're going to be more focused economically at home. But that's the thing about ZVZ, guys. Like, Zerg is able to make that transition from economics into military, and they're able to do it in a flash because that's the way that their production works. You're able to go straight from drone production into unit production, and you have to be very careful. And I think that Snuffe just wasn't careful enough in what his opponent could have been hitting him with, and he kind of got caught a little unprepared. And a little unprepared in ZVZ is a lot of unprepared in ZVZ. So Coyote does manage to take that game 1-0, putting his team up in a pretty good position going into this game number 2.